Hello, and welcome to Jason Cavness Experience. I'm your host, Jason Cavness. I'm also CEO and founder of Cavness HR. At Cavness HR, we deliver HR to companies with 4 and under fewer people with our AI platform while providing you with an HR business partner. We're also hosting Cavness HR Seattle's Got Tech on July 30th, where we're hosting 16 tech startups who's actually demoing what they built. Think of it like a tech trade show. And one of the people demoing is our guest today, Joseph Casebeer. Joseph, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So we're gonna get into your company, all that stuff later on. But first, I have to ask you a question, right? So I saw on your LinkedIn where you have 7 roommates. So I'm guessing it's not a seven bedroom house, right?
It's a actually it is it's a 6-bedroom house, I think.
Okay.
It is a 6-bedroom house. A couple of our roommates do have a bunk bed. So I'm still in my 20s. They're also in their 20s. So we're all in our early careers, just trying to figure everything out.
So my joke was gonna be like, y'all have a 3-bedroom house, or like y'all like sharing beds or something, right? Like how you making 7 people in 3 bedrooms, but if you have like 7 bedrooms, that's different.
Yeah, or it's 4 bedrooms in the top floor, and then there's an in-law unit kind of in the back or back basement. So.
And this is in Tacoma.
This is in Tacoma.
And so these people are like good friends of yours. There's random people you found somewhere.
A couple of them are friends from high school, and a couple of them are friends of those people.
Yeah.
So I have less of a personal relationship with them, but we do get along as roommates.
Yeah, that's one good thing about being in your 20s and not be tied down, no family, no kids. Like you can do stuff like that, right? Like you go all in, so to speak, right?
Yes. So financially, it's very easy. Do I want to live in that situation for any longer? Probably not.
Yeah, if you're 39 still living like that, something's wrong with your life, right?
Yes. One day I want to have my own bathroom.
Yeah, scoot up just a little bit. Scoot up just a little bit.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. Man, and so all these people, they're all the entrepreneurs like you, are just like 7 different lifestyles, 7 different personalities, 7 different things they're doing with their life.
7 different lifestyles. We're all
Okay.
Very different.
Okay. And like whose house is the name is? I'm guessing there's not 7 leases. I guess one person is like the renter and they're subleasing or stuff.
So in terms of leases, there's a main leasee, or leaser, I guess, in the top floors and in the in-law units.
So for someone out there looking to do something like this, right? Can you tell them like the pros and cons of doing this?
So I think in my situation, we're blessed to have a very, very nice and allowing landlord. So the pros are it's extremely affordable. So my rent plus utilities is about $660 per month, dividing a house between 8 different roommates. But the cons are mostly having a lack of space, having to be very, very organized amongst our roommates to make sure that the chores get done and things like that, and not necessarily getting the space we need to do things. So it's a little bit difficult to run a startup when I have to keep moving things around so I can sleep during the day or eat during the day or do other things.
Yeah. So you have a very interesting background. So you actually were born in Luxembourg to Japanese parents?
Yes. So my father was actually a field service engineer for Boeing. So he was sent out to work with different airlines to get them whatever they needed to fix and maintain their planes.
And then you said, I think it says you lived in like 4 different countries.
Yes. So I was born in Luxembourg. Then I moved to Morocco, and after Morocco, I moved to Nairobi, Kenya, and before coming here to the United States.
And like, how long did you stay at each place?
I lived in each place for about 3 years.
3 years.
Which is very interesting.
Do you pick up any languages or anything?
So I did pick up one language. So I took or 2. So I was born in Luxembourg to Japanese American parents. So the rule was I spoke to my dad in English, my mother in Japanese, and I went to preschool in Luxembourg, and that was in French. and I continued the French education when I moved to Morocco because it's a former colony of France.
And how old were you when you all moved back to the States?
I was 8 years old.
And that's the first time you was in the States at 8 years old?
It's the first time I lived in the States. I had been here a couple times before because that was although I didn't live here, it was kind of home based.
Okay.
It's where my dad's mother lives. So we came to the States around every year for Christmas.
So I'm guessing since you lived around the world from like birth to 8, your 20s now, did you pick anything up from those experiences that you do today for your entrepreneurship or startup or anything, or is that just back in your youth and it's like really don't get anything from it?
I think having a global perspective allows me to think outside the box. So having been to different countries, you realize that not everyone thinks the same way, not everyone talks the same way, and everyone has a different way to approach different problems. So, if we can take these universalized perspectives, I think it allows us to have greater creativity in our daily lives, and if we haven't experienced, I guess how truly vast this planet is.
Yeah, it's so big, right? But again, it's so small, right? It's big compared to Seattle, but the planet's small if you compare it to the whole universe, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's all perspective, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I wish I knew the stat where it says like what percentage of Americans travel versus like what percentage of Japanese or Vietnamese or Europeans travel, right? I'm guessing Americans are probably kind of lower, but then again, you could argue that why travel? You have 50 states to go to, right? I mean, just the state of Washington, you got other stuff to do in the state of Washington, right? So why travel? So I don't know.
Well, I think one thing I've noticed about people here in the United States is that although we are able to travel to different states, there's kind of a same. There are different cultures across many states, and the United States is a little bit of a melting pot culturally. But because it's so vast and so huge, but it's still one country. So compared to Europeans, there's tends to be a lack of an awareness that other countries exist. I know people know that other countries exist, but it is a different feeling to be able to drive a couple hours and go to somewhere else where the language is completely different, where the things you say don't carry as far because you are outside your culture, and all it took was a small road trip.
Yeah, when I was in the Army, we were stationed in Germany 2 times, right? And just like Germany, there were a 3-hour drive. I think it was a 3-hour drive from Germany to France, Belgium, Amsterdam, all these countries, right? And that's all the different cultures, different, it's like totally different, right?
Yes, and also it's I actually or once traveling with my family, we had to I think we were going from Luxembourg to Amsterdam, and we had to take an emergency landing in Germany. I don't exactly remember the details of why we had to take this emergency landing, but we went onto an escalator, and somehow my sister and I started conversing with someone on the escalator in French. So even though we were in Germany, we met someone from France. So it's you also get to, even because of the proximity to other countries, you also get to be steeped in different cultures in a way that you can get in the United States, but it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So people coming to the United States, a lot of them do come for work, but a lot of them or to live here. But I don't know. It's not really it's when people come to the United States, because it's of the travel distance, is kind of a big hurdle. So you never meet people passing through more or less casually.
Yeah, no, that's right. So on your bio it says Joseph, and you say your last name Casebeer?
Yes.
Your bio says Joseph Casebeer is a computer engineer, an entrepreneur, and a tech journalist. Why use the word tech journalist?
So I actually got into computer engineering because I didn't want to choose a major between electrical or computer science. And so most people I met during high school and college, they would choose electrical engineering because they didn't want to learn how to program, or computer science because they didn't want to work with hardware. And I didn't really want to do that. I'm the kind of person who tends to pick a project, even though I have none of the skills required to do said project, learn all the required skills, and get it done. So I know today I'm here to talk about my robotics startup, but I've also done web dev, app dev, and other kinds of projects like that.
Is one of those companies Astro Proxima?
I used so that's a startup I did in high school when I really didn't know what I was doing, and the company's called Astro Proxima, and it's the product was called Jargonaut. And one problem I realize exists is that there are multilingual people in the world like me, and though I know 3 languages and I can speak in those languages when it comes to everyday conversations, I am very fluent, but I learned terms relating to my career, so mathematics, technology, physics, and things like that, in English, but no, not those other languages. So if I try to speak about engineering in French or engineering in Japanese, it's just difficult for me because I don't have that vocabulary. So I created a startup where I programmed an app that was just a glossary of technical terms where you choose a couple languages and the topic that you want to learn the translations for, and it will just line them up for you so you can quickly scroll through. Definitions aren't important because you already know them.
So you recently got your degree in computer science like in 2021, 2022?
Specifically computer engineering.
Computer engineering. So what's the difference between those two?
So computer science is more relating to code and programming and algorithms. Computer engineering is an engineering degree, so we have to get the rigorous physics training. We have to take advanced math, so like Calc 3, Calc 4, differential equations, and we learn more about how the CPU works and digital circuits. So we do share a lot of classes with electrical engineers, and I think the last part that makes the last important distinction is what's called PID controllers, which is kind of algorithm that allows you to smoothly control a function based off of an input.
So what's your take on this? So it's like, I'm kind of making this up, like, 4 or 6 years ago, they told everyone going to college, hey, get a good coding degree, learn coding, computer science, computer engineering, right? All these jobs. The jobs aren't there no more, seems like, right? It's like, that this generation, I've kind of been lied to, right? 'Cause I know you've had a tough time with your job search. You document it on LinkedIn or whatever. So what's your take on that?
So I think the skill set is still going to be important, and we are in a transitionary period where we're trying to figure out our relationship with AI and the value of AI itself. So one thing I've heard scrolling through LinkedIn is that the value of AI might be a little bit overinflated. So one, overinflated in general, but also overinflated in terms of companies are replacing their programmers. So one big complaint about vibe coding is that the people who do it might not necessarily be the best programmers themselves. So each time the AI like Copilot does something, it might accumulate inefficiencies or mistakes that the coder needs to be skilled enough to find.
Yeah, like I'm not a coder, but that seems like vibe coding and can potentially build up a lot of tech debt.
Yes.
Yeah. So So you have your company, but you're also looking for a job, correct? I know you told a story on LinkedIn, and you didn't tell the details, but basically, like, this company like ghosted all y'all. Is like, can you talk about that? Because that's happened a lot lately, unfortunately.
So it wasn't necessarily a ghost job. It was a strange incident where so it was what's called a software-based radio company where the frequencies you can tune into are instead of using analog circuits, you're able to use digital circuits, which allows radios to have a greater amount of tunability because you can define waveforms using digital inputs instead of analog inputs. But that aside, this was an unusual ghost job where I had to go and interview for it. So they weren't just looking at the application, and then after the interview, they just disappeared.
Like, that's crazy to me. Like, that's nothing. And you said they didn't even hire anyone else, right?
They did not hire anyone else. They actually contracted a recruitment company to help us interview, and they told me that throughout the whole process, because I have to have something called a amateur radio license, that I was one of the favorites for this position. And then a week after the interview, when we were supposed to hear back, they said that the company had misrepresented their intentions to the recruiting company, and they were not hiring anyone, and there were many other candidates as well. So it was a little bit of an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, that sucks. So next, are you still like the Makerspace director for Startup 253?
I am no longer the Makerspace director for Startup 253. We were unable to make that business model work. So
it didn't. I heard like the building actually closed down or something, or they gave the lease up or something.
We got out of that lease.
Okay. Any success stories from there you can talk about?
So I did say that we were having trouble getting the Makerspace to work, but we were seeing some success at the end, but it was kind of too late to really see it through. Where we lowered the price of the membership enough to about $55 a month. So while it wouldn't cover everything per person if the person was a regular user, it was a kind of it was a business model similar to Planet Fitness, where they assumed that some people might not use the resource as much as that they should to get their money's worth, and that we might have memberships accumulate. So memberships accumulate and be able to pay for the resources used by the people who do show up.
So what happens in a makerspace? For people who don't know, what is a makerspace? What happens supposed to happen in there?
So makerspace, well, they can be simple to like a space where people in the neighborhood come and solder things together or sew things together, but they can also be very sophisticated spaces that have the most advanced 3D printers, woodshop equipment, welding equipment, where you can kind of make anything. But it's a place where makers can go to and take classes about how to make other things, learn new skills, or even share information with each other about their hobbies.
Were there any cool products built in there that you can talk about? Any cool products that were built in there?
Any cool projects? Well, I think so. The projects don't necessarily need to be that technically advanced or have a high skill level. So we actually had a wood laser cutter there, and one person would come in and use a laser cutter to print out different shapes. So like a wooden car or a wooden flower, so they could just paint them or take them home, invite their friends over, and paint them. So that is one project that wasn't technically advanced, but I think it was a good use of the makerspace because it one, she was able to do what she was passionate about, and two, she was able to bring her friends together. Another cool project.
Okay, Joseph, stay in front of the mic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. another cool projects. Some people love using our 3D printers. So and when it comes to 3D printers, you can get to different skill ranges. So you can some people take files from online and print them themselves, so they can kind of get into the hobby. So a lot of people printed out lightsabers, which is cool. So they're the ones where you can kind of flick them out, and then it will just kind of telescope out. Some people made robots like this one, and one person made the head of Jack Skellington for a giant mannequin.
Nice. And are you still doing anything with Startup 253 now?
So we're doing. I think we're on hiatus for now, but we've been doing events once a month. So I'm the operations manager for Startup 253. So I'm sending out the social media posts, the emails, and helping with the planning.
And who else is involved with Startup 253 in Tacoma?
Until recently, Stan Nguyen, who's a very well-known entrepreneur, his sister Lin Nguyen, who's also a very well-known entrepreneur in the Tacoma startup community, and Karina Martia Harris, who's the former manager of Maritime Incubator in Tacoma.
Nice. And are you still working on the company? I can't say the name. Is it Terrestrius?
Or Terrestrius?
Yes. Are you still working on that?
I am still working on that. So Terrestrius is a mobile game that's supposed to incentivize sustainability. So the idea is it's a game kind of like Nintendo Animal Crossing, where in Nintendo Animal Crossing the game mechanics is people complete tasks on a island in their game to earn money, so they can build things on that island and kind of customize it. The game mechanic I'm trying to create in that game is to earn money that people need to build out an in-game terrarium that's supposed to be populated by super intelligent frogs. The story behind that is the frogs you are part of an experiment to. You and the frogs are part of an experiment to study the effects of technology and industrialization on a sealed environment. So a terrarium could be a sealed environment. So the frogs are supposed to build some kind of civilization within the sealed terrarium, and you're able to monitor the ecosystem inside and the different levels of gas inside, like CO2. But for them to build anything, they need funding, and to get that funding, you have to go out and complete sustainable tasks.
And so, how do you even come to this idea? Right, just came to you one day, or it's like a long process? Like, because this is like, I don't say it's random, but it's kind of random.
It is indeed kind of random. I challenged myself at some point to build a mobile app that could or get more people involved in sustainability. So it started out as kind of sustainable social media, but I was told that these kind of plays don't do very well without a lot of financial backing, because a company like Meta or X can just take their existing code base, copy it, and then just say it's sustainable Facebook or sustainable X. So to create the IP mode that investors wanted, I kind of pivoted and turned it into a video game, and I took the story about super intelligent frogs, and I kind of ran with it.
So, like, why should anyone care about the environment, right? Like, I think most people want clean air, clean water, but most people, their eyes glass up when you talk about carbon credits and all the climate tech stuff, right? Why should people care?
So I think society in general should be designed in a way that we can keep it stable if we or the environment stable even if we don't care. So my idealized version of a trash can would be something that with one receptacle where you throw something in without knowing what it's made of, and it will automatically sort it into the right bin, whether it's landfill or compost or recycle. So we should care about the environment because this is the planet in which we live, and if we don't do anything about climate change, our lives are going to get a whole lot harder from here on out. But I read Bill Gates' book called "How to Stop or How to Prevent the Climate Crisis." Or I gotta check the title because I don't think I'm quoting it quite right. And he was talking about how we haven't completely built out the technological tool chain we need to completely change our infrastructure to accommodate for new clean energy sources or new manufacturing processes that we need to achieve carbon neutral. And so, with the reality that people are a little bit apathetic about to some extent apathetic about the climate, I thought, why not make it fun for people to kind of start small with little acts of sustainability, but kind of guide them in a way that people can start aiming for big pieces of innovation like let's say carbon-free concrete.
So most people can't handle doing one startup. You're doing two. Talk about how you're balancing both these startups.
Oh, that's easy. Terrestrius is on hiatus at the moment because I don't actually have the resources to completely build it out. So I'm hoping that this new startup will make the profits that I need to start funding Terrestrius.
Okay, there you have it. So next, you recently went to England, right?
Sorry?
You recently went to London, England for something?
I recently went to London.
Can you talk about that experience?
So because I'm currently unemployed, I need to do as much as I can to keep my resume current. So I partnered up with a local Tacoma entrepreneur named Calbit and his company Authentic. Authentic is building a new kind of or unusual kind of internet router called a network aggregator. A network aggregator is a router that can take multiple internet connections. So it could be a home internet connection, it could be 4G, 5G, it could be satellite internet. Take multiple connections, basically fuse them together into a faster, more resilient, more secure internet connection.
And so, how were you picked to be the one to speak instead of the CEO of someone else?
We were. So the CEO and I, we went. We weren't speaking in front of a large audience. It was a trade show called InfoSec Europe. So apparently, it's the biggest InfoSec conference in the world. So my job was one to help this CEO build the demo, a working demo, and because I have more experience being a startup CEO, prove product market fit. So I helped the CEO write the surveys. It's a little bit difficult asking questions on the customer discovery survey. I don't really like doing it myself, but it is customer discovery is a important part of creating a startup. And when we were there, figure out the best way to flag down people who are passing by, and then put the survey in front of them, asking them exactly what they want out of a router. So the network. One thing engineers don't really understand about startups is that cool new tech that they're using oftentimes isn't the product. So the network aggregator is not the product. The product that Authentic is selling is either faster internet, more secure internet, or more resilient internet. So we were just asking people which one they want and why, and would they be able to pay for it.
And what do you think y'all learned from being over there?
Well, the data that we got back, I don't have it with me right now, but it shows that yes, everyone wants faster internet, and
if someone would have said they want slower than that, they probably need to put in a mental home or something, right?
But for some reason that we haven't been able to suss out yet, people want more resilient internet. So the reason the network aggregator is resilient is because if we can take multiple internet sources, if one of them cuts out, then you have a couple more as backup. And we thought that the application for that would be more or less industrial or maritime, where a ship has to change maybe satellite or from satellite to 4G or 5G or to maintain this a constant connection to the internet. But for some reason, we were encountering a lot of people who wanted this more resilient internet, even if it wasn't in a industrial setting. So we got to do more research on that.
Yeah. Do you know how y'all got invited to this? Because the guy, it's not like a brand new startup here in Seattle, Washington. Did he know someone can invite him to this big conference, or how do you know how that came about?
I think it was through the Washington State Department of Commerce.
Okay.
So they picked a few startups from Washington State and sent us over there.
Nice. And so it sounds like you personally, you've been doing a really good job lately, like putting yourself out there, doing videos on LinkedIn, different places. And maybe you've been doing this all along, all the time I've known you, but I just didn't notice it now. Why have you been putting yourself out there more now?
I've been putting myself and my startup out there more now because one, to get noticed by more employers, but two, my robotics startup, Takamori Robot, we are actually building up to a Kickstarter launch. So personally, I am kind of lazy when it comes to social media, and I probably don't post as much as I should. But given the importance of the things I'm trying to do, I'm forcing myself to get up and open constant contact, which I use to kind of automate posts and just put something out there, whether or not I think it's good. I think it's more important to post regularly than be a perfectionist about each post.
Yeah. So talk about your Kickstarter. That starts August 12th, right?
Yes. Or I think August 14th.
14th, yeah. And so that's something you're doing by yourself? You paying someone to do it for you, or how's that working for you? Because everyone says, oh, do a Kickstarter, do a crowdfunding campaign. All the money's come. It doesn't come, right? It's a lot of work. I think the stats show only 10% of any of these kind of things are actually successful.
So there's a lot of different kinds of advice out there as to what to do. But the advice that seems to be consistent is some fraction of the traffic going to your Kickstarter page, you must provide yourself. And whether or not it's 33% like some of my research says, or it's 100% like I've heard from someone else, you must provide some of that traffic. So, one of my startup mentors, who was helping me do Terrestrius, when I was telling him that I wanted to do a crowdfunding campaign, said that it's important to do a Kickstarter pre-launch, where you kind of get the page out there a month or 3 ahead of time. Start getting names down for people who swear that they're going to buy on day one.
And how much are you trying to raise?
So ideally, I want to raise about $30K, because one, at that volume, we get cheaper prices per robotics kit, and it also does not really take, we're going with the advice that we need about a third of the pre-orders and traffic on day one to get Kickstarter to promote our page for us.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So to get $10,000 worth of pre-orders, we need only about 167 people to purchase on day one, and through friends and families, members of my team and I, we can probably provide 80, and through other means of marketing and advertising, we can probably get another 80 from other sources.
And so, can people just like donate like a small amount, or they actually have to buy one of the kits?
So far, the only tier I've thought about is for one of these kits. It'll be $60 on day one.
Okay, but so, like someone can just donate like $30 to it.
It is possible. So we have to set lower tiers. So we are planning on doing things like a no prize tier, posters, stickers, and maybe T-shirts for people who want to donate less. But that's a conversation my team and I need to have.
I always heard like these kind of crowdfunding campaigns that you're supposed to give perks, right? Are you gonna have any perks?
So usually the perks are the not prizes,
the product pre-orders, okay.
But a lot of times for I think web and app based startups, the perks instead of pre-orders, they tend to be, we'll put your name on the website.
And does this 3D NFC keychain with the Kickstarter too, or that's something completely different?
We might put that on the Kickstarter, but I found that it's a better tool for getting people to complete the customer development surveys. They don't take that long to make. They only cost 30 cents to manufacture. So.
And you making these yourself?
Yes, I am making them myself. I got a couple in my pocket.
Okay, cool.
So this one's this one is one I 3D printed myself, and so even with our borrower 3D printer, it's actually pretty high quality.
And change the subject, right? I know you have a designer that you bought on from, I think, the Corner School of Arts. Can you talk about her and how you bought her on, how you found her?
So actually it was nearly exactly a year ago today. I was at Japan Fair in Bellevue, so Made in Bauer Center, actually working with the Japan American Society. So they have this like a small business corner that they do with startups that work with them, and we were advertising Terrestrius to people nearby in a trade show like manner, and there happened to be a lot of local artists selling keychains and posters nearby, and we knew that to build the game, Terrestrius the game, we needed a talented graphic artist. So we just went around to everyone there with a art-related stall and said, "Would you help us by being our graphic artist? Are you interested in game design? Are you interested in game design?" And she's the one who said yes. And so if you look at both Terrestrius.com and TakamoriRobot.com, there is a lot of great art by her. Her name is Sakura Watanabe, by the way, and I think she can be found on Instagram as Sakura Shrimp. She's a very talented artist.
Nice. So back to Kickstarter, right? So talk about the process like of building a Kickstarter out. I'm assuming you have some kind of plan, right? So it's going to go live August 12th, August 14th. Can you like backwards plan like all the stuff that goes into it? Like of course you do social media, you got to tell people about it. You got some kind of details, right?
So one thing, I'll talk about a pitfall first. So one thing that is causing me to kind of delay in the pre-launch is you have to have your company incorporated with EIN number and bank account at the pre-launch. So not the launch, at the pre-launch. So they have to verify your company. So I just spent the first 3 days of this week, or also last week, turning the company into an official LLC, making sure that all the paperwork's right, and walking to BECU to get that bank account.
So I'm sure you already thought about this, but how are you going to take advantage of the tech event I'm doing to help you with your Kickstarter?
Well, so by the time this is out in a couple weeks, I'd like everyone to go to either the Linktree or TakamoriRobot.com, and there should be a link on each page for the Kickstarter. So if the campaign is launched, please take a look, and if you find anything interesting, please help us out. And or if the campaign hasn't launched yet, we're still in the pre-launch phase. Sign up, and they should be. Kickstarter should send you a reminder when we're live.
But how about the actual event on July 30th? How do you think you can be able to take advantage of that event to help your Kickstarter?
Like any what is the phrase? Trade show.
Yeah.
Flag people down. Yeah. Show them what we have. Show them a QR code, or they can actually scan one of these to sign up to the Kickstarter campaign.
Nice. And how long do you run the Kickstarter for? I know you can't do it forever, right? Is there like a certain minimum time frame you have to cut it off if you don't meet your goals yet?
So it's 1 to 60 days.
Okay, that's pretty fast.
I think we're going to do it about 35 days, or I got to check that because it ends on it ends specifically on a Thursday, and so we can. The reason that we find that important is if we want, we can do a end of campaign event. So maybe to get a few more contributions at the end, or just to leave it on a good finishing note.
And so you said you're trying to raise $30,000, right? So what happens if you only raise $10,000? You keep the $10,000, or you don't keep it because you didn't raise the full amount?
If we raise any less than $30,000, we won't be able to keep any of it.
Okay, man, that kind of sucks.
Well, we can always either find another source of funding, or try again.
Yeah, that's true. So here's one thing I think a lot of founders have trouble with, right? Of course, you got to work in the day-to-day, right? You got to get part of market fit, all this kind of stuff, right? But you still have to figure out what if it does work, right? Like I think I saw you on LinkedIn where David Robot said I need 40, right? You said I don't have 40, right? So what happens if you do this and then you get an order for 10,000 or 1,000, right? I mean, that's a good problem to have, right? But how do you balance focus on what you need to focus on now, keep still planning for the future success?
So if we suddenly get an order that's too big for us to fulfill, I mean, if we need to say no, we have to say no. I mean, it's a great problem. It's a great problem to have, and I'd probably have to apologize to whoever believes in us that much at that point. But a healthy company grows organically. And
so, I'm maybe do a demo of a robot in a minute. But these robots you're making, where are you actually making them at?
So I actually made this one at home. This is still a demo. This is not the final product. So you can see by all the mess of wires in the breadboard here that it isn't as plug and play as I would like the final product to be.
So have you thought out, if you do get 10,000 orders, right? You'd have to go to some kind of factory in China, Vietnam to make it. How would all these things be made if you did get a mass order?
So we're still kind of optimizing that. We're going to start with factories in state, or in state as we figure it out, and as time goes on, kind of start looking into different factories and manufacturers, so we can kind of optimize a price. And working with different factories around the world, there are different concerns from local culture, language barriers to even concerns with IP.
So, what does this thing made out of, right? Is it plastic, metal? Can you talk about what it's made out of and why it's made out of that material versus something else?
So the plastic here.
Raise it up a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that. Plastic here, it's PLA. So one, it's the 3D printer filament that I happen to have, when I was designing this. But it's also, but I like it because it gets the job done, but two, it's a bioplastic, so it will disintegrate in the environment. So it is compostable. So I want to do as much as I can to lower any environmental impact that my company has. The things I can't control though are these electronic components. So these servo motors, let's say, they're made of a plastic that I don't have any control over. I might not be able to control everything, but I will do as much as I can to make sure that my part of it is at least environmentally friendly.
So, what makes something a robot, right? What's the definition of a robot?
I think it's. I guess this would strictly not be a robot by the definition that I have in mind, which is a machine that does the work of a human. Mm-hmm. I guess this is more of an animatronic, where it's a machine that kind of moves like an animal.
Okay. And how long does it take to build one of these things?
Are you talking about design or put the kit together?
Let's do both.
I think the design, if I was the 3D modeling and printing, it'll probably if I rushed it, I could probably create something like this in a day and a half. Not where it kind of gets difficult is the electronics themselves. So this demo today, it's unfortunately I'm unable to get it to move because I need an external power supply that can feed into it a stable 5 volts. So the next thing I'm working on right now is designing a circuit called a battery management unit. So these robots will be using rechargeable lithium polymer batteries. But the problem with lithium polymer batteries is they're very temperamental. So the specs that we want to meet is to create something that charges from the 5 volts that you can get out of your laptop, so using USB, and it can run this robot for a meaningful enough amount of time, and at the 5 volts required to move these motors. So a cheap lithium polymer battery is at 3.7 volts. So I need to create a circuit that charges it as well as boosts the voltage up to 5 volts. And the problem with lithium polymer batteries is if you charge them the wrong way, they explode. If you overcharge them, they explode. If you draw too much current all at once, they explode. If you discharge too much power or too much of the energy, they explode. So a battery management unit is extremely important for safety as well as practicality.
So you're making this company, so you want to help young kids make robots, right? Why do you think that's important for them to know how to do this?
So it's so I guess or one disclaimer. Disclaimer real quick. This robot will be rated ages 13 plus. So for any younger students to use it, they will need to use it with the teacher or parental supervision. So the reason I think this particular kit is important is I guess the differentiator that I wanted to put into a robotics kit over let's say a kit like Mindstorms is the tech skills that you walk away from the kit with are real and transferable. And what I mean by this is I took a robotics class when I was in middle school, and it was Mindstorms and Lego Mindstorms. And Lego Mindstorms are great because you can use Legos to design the structure of a robot. You can program it using blocks on a screen that you drag and drop, and like all the electronics are easy. You just plug and play. So they create good classes for teaching students how to problem solve and to work together. But at the end of the class, even though I had fun, I was angry at myself because I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know anything about electronics, and still didn't know how to program. So it was a couple years later where that I had to kind of learn about electronics and these microcontrollers to start building my own robots. So I started building Arduino bots in high school, and the friction I kind of want to solve is that I had to spend hours and hours and hours teaching myself. With this kit, I want to make it so that students will have a streamlined experience when learning electronics, when learning programming, when learning about microcontrollers. So because those skills are transferable, those skills are important.
And so it's planned to have all these kids learn all these skills directly from your company. Are you gonna sell the stuff to like the schools and stuff? How's that gonna work?
I think we'll have some videos online and a book that we do publish with this, or publish along with the kit at some point. But we will be working with third-party organizations to get these kits out there. So I'm not sure if it was mentioned during the course of this interview, but we are working with David Robichaux's company Black Muse, and they have contracted with schools and after-school programs in 4 different states. So they want to get these kits into the classroom, and we are creating a curriculum to go with the kit that they will be disseminating on our behalf.
So what kind of transfer skills do you think do you know the kids can gain from doing this?
So the transferable skills, so of course the soft skills, same as mine in terms of teamwork and problem solving, so getting the robot to do different tasks. But the transferable tech skills will be basic electronics, programming, programming in C, and how to use microcontrollers. And the biggest value about that is, or the biggest value when it comes to these skills is, this kit actually does not have to be a robot. I could create a kit that teaches the same skills by having the students put together a smartwatch or a remote control for something, or a let's say drone. So what's important about these skills is the students can use all these skills, learn all these skills building this kit, and they can go out, buy the same supplies, and build something else. So it's not really important that this is a robot, but the reason it is a robot is, at the end of the day, robots are fun.
So give us your take on what you think the future of robots and AI is going to be. And you can get back in front of the microphone, please.
Sure. The future of robots and AI. Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think AI is definitely going to be more efficient than it is today, and I think we are going to kind of start moving a little bit away from these large language models as general AI, or not necessarily move away from them, but we are kind of advertising large language models as general AI, while they're pretty good at predicting what to say next, they aren't general AI. A lot of AI is taking different neural nets to and then connecting them together in a way that they can be perceived as doing something more like a human than what they are doing. I think when it comes to programming and robots, there will be it'll make code and products like this more like content in the future, where people will be able to prompt an AI to design the thing they want for them. But I think we will still need engineers who can actually program and design things to kind of keep pushing our boundaries, but they will be assisted by AI instead of fully replaced.
So do you think we need to be afraid of our AI overlords, like killing off the human race or anything crazy like that?
God, I hope not. Well, we will see, won't we?
Yes, we will. What excites you about AI
What excites me about
or robots? Robots.
so so I think AI in general. I think it's going to, or so I'm not that. So I'm not that familiar with AI, and I want to learn more about it myself. So that's one subject, but I want to go into learning how to build neural nets myself, and neural nets that underlie AI, they work more like the human brain than any digital computer. So we might be looking at a future of computers based off of analog circuits more than digital circuits, and I think that's kind of exciting.
And then let's talk about pricing, right? I'm sure your pricing going to change a whole lot, but your current pricing, how do you figure out that pricing for your current model right now?
So the current pricing is one. There's the tariffs that are changing all the time. And another thing that will be affecting our prices over time is as we scale. And have do bigger bulk orders of each of the parts, hopefully that will bring everything we order down, the price of all the parts down, so we can make the kits cheaper. We'd be able to over time shop through different factories, different manufacturer, and find components that are cheaper, but also better quality than the first factories that we contract. So hopefully, as we scale, we're able to bring the price down over time while maintaining the quality.
And you recently built your own in-home cloud server or something like that?
Yes.
Talk about that, please.
So. One of the most popular tools for entrepreneurs out there is, cloud platforms like AWS or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure. And they are really powerful, but the menus are intimidating. There are many products. There are many products where the description seems like they do the same thing, and if too many people visit your website at once, then the cost might go up, and if you don't set it right, then it won't cut off your server beyond your budget. So, and also the fact that I actually don't have much capital myself, my team and I, we decided to build a Raspberry Pi Kubernetes cluster. So that one lowered our hosting costs, so we don't have monthly bills coming in from any cloud provider. All I have to do is pay for power and internet at my house. And two, it actually makes learning about platforms like Kubernetes and web hosting a little bit easier, because online you're pressing a few buttons and you're spinning up a bunch of servers, but it's kind of difficult to visualize how that works. At my house, all I'm doing is I'm plugging in a bunch of Raspberry Pis physically with my hands, and so that's a little bit easier to. It's a little bit easier for me to visualize the process of what's happening, and if something happens that I do not expect, I can always unplug it.
And so, how much storage space does this thing have in your house?
With all the servers I have together, about 4.5 terabytes.
Is that a pretty big size, or?
For a household, yes.
Okay.
And so far it meets our needs. But if I were to create, let's say, or if I were to finish out Terrestrius, and where we need lots and lots of storage space for lots and lots of accounts, not nearly enough.
Okay. And you say it's only costs like the internet and the energy. There's really no cost to it.
I mean, you still need to buy the probably Raspberry Pis and SD cards, but
okay.
But the cheapest Raspberry Pis would be around $40, and the most expensive would be $120, depending. So it all depends on your budget.
So talk about some of the challenges like bootstrapping all this stuff. like being like pretty much like a mid-20s broke guy, you know?
So, I've been unable to find a good engineering job, so I've been supporting myself by driving Uber Eats for a while. And I guess the biggest challenges of having to bootstrap it in this way is I'm unable to build the momentum I would like because I have to work on this startup for a minority of the time, and then spend most of my week driving around trying to get the capital I need to buy parts, so I can buy parts, pay for Constant Contact, or pay for Google Workspace and things like that. So it's work a bit, run out of money, do Uber Eats. Work a bit, run out of money, do Uber Eats.
Yeah. So how you keep yourself going? Like how you not quit? What's driving you?
It's difficult. I think it's good that I'm naturally persistent, but I think I'm gonna have to spend a couple days at Cannon Beach or something, taking a break soon.
Yeah. So do you consider yourself like entrepreneur, a tech person, engineer? Like what do you is all of the above?
I think I consider myself to be all of the above, but I think I put myself as an engineer above entrepreneur in terms of the list of priority.
What's a skill you don't have that you wish you had?
Capital. But I think that's every entrepreneur's stopping block.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I would want on top of capital is an office space, or just space to work. So I'm not constantly moving things around my room to make space for my laptop, or move my laptop so I can make space for a soldering iron.
Yeah. So what's something like this is not on your resume, it's not on LinkedIn, it's not out there, no one knows about it. It's not like your closest friends and maybe your parents, but what's something you're really proud of that's not public knowledge?
What is something that I'm really proud of that is not public knowledge? That or it's not an accomplishment of mine, but this watch I have here, it's this watch I have here. It's I got it in Japan. It's a Citizen watch, but it has a slide rule around the bezel, so which allows me to do math problems really quickly. I like that I'm the kind of person who would choose. I like that I'm the kind of person who would choose it because it requires an understanding of math and kind of an engineer's fascination with different things like these. So it's not a big part of who I am, and it is just a watch, but and it's also not an accomplishment, but I like that I'm the kind of person who would choose this kind of thing.
Okay, and also you have a survey going on right now. About your company? Can you talk about the survey? And
so it's a customer development survey, so similar thing to what I was doing in London for the startup Authentic. So I was lucky when I started this company that as soon as I had a design down and relative costs in mind of production, that I was able to put David on the phone and ask him if he knew anyone who wanted it. So I found a customer immediately. But the thing about startups is if you don't establish that people want things and why, then you're a little bit unfocused when it comes to the marketing or the features that you put into the product. So I put out a B2C, business to consumer survey out there, so asking people who they are in terms of, I guess, demographic and what they're looking for in a what they're looking for in a robotics kit, and what about this robotics kit drew them in.
So how do you think so many entrepreneurs, especially ones with like your background, engineering and tech, like pretty much like blow off customer service or customer service development?
Uh,
Why do you think so many engineers like yourself or tech people like kind of blow off like this?
the,
Just, they do the Field of Dreams thing, build and they will come, and that doesn't work.
because I think engineers like us, we're in love with the tech and we're in love with the features, and the last thing we think about is what other people want, or needs. So sometimes there's kind of a disconnect, and I had trouble with this with the multilingual glossary Jargonaut and as well as Terrestrius, figuring out what people needed and what people thought about the actual product, and optimizing for people's needs. Even with this, I went to a local investor in Tacoma for some advice, and he thought it was bad form that I had any idea or concept before having asked any customer ahead of time, because this person was from a business and marketing background. So I think marketers and tech people tend to address things in a different order. So I think for someone in a business background, even the way I'm doing this now, and I think I'm doing customer development pretty early. Even then, it might be some kind of bad form.
So how do you deal with this, right? There's so many people out there give you quote unquote advice, right? And I'm sure it all comes from a good place, from the background or whatever. But a lot of times it's not good advice for your situation, right? So how you kind of decipher, okay, this guy just told me this. I don't know if I really trust it or not. This guy told me bad advice. Like, how do you decide all that noise, know what to go with?
I guess the disclaimer I need to make is I constantly make mistakes, and I don't always do everything right. But I think, or what I do is I try to do is I guess ask as many people as I practically can. So so I have many mentors and people I talk to in the Tacoma startup community, and I do get lots of advice, but some of it overlaps. So where it overlaps, I definitely do that, and where it doesn't tend to overlap, or where the advice might be different relative to what I would do, I take that as a license to be creative.
So let's talk about the Tacoma startup economy or startup scene, whatever, right? It seems as long as I can remember, Tacoma has always been trying to catch up with Seattle, right? Trying to prove its worth, whatever, right? And they do events, and then it dies off, and then something happens, it dies off. They've never been consistent, so it's right? And I compare, Seattle would never be San Francisco. I don't think Tacoma would be Seattle, right? And the sad thing is, there's all the talent down there, all the colleges, all the students, all the stuff down there, right? But it just seems for whatever reason they just can't get off the ground, right? What do you think the reason for that is?
I think in terms of Tacoma, as you said, Tacoma might be trying to be Seattle in a certain sense. So students go to UW Tacoma, and then they leave for jobs in Seattle or San Francisco, and startups starting in Tacoma, they leave Tacoma for opportunities in Seattle or Bellevue. I think so. People leave in search of opportunities, and I don't think there's much that Tacoma can do about that. But the great thing about Tacoma is that everyone there in the startup community, unlike Seattle, has an open door policy. So if you need advice, you can always find it. So I think Tacoma needs to embrace its role as a startup nursery where startups are born. It might not be the place where the startups end up, but it is definitely a great place for startups to begin.
That's actually pretty damn good advice. Someone needs to take that. Are there any startup success stories in Tacoma?
I think
Whatever success means.
The biggest one I know are Laura Malcolm's Given Kind.
Okay, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. So there are a few down there. Yeah. I know her.
Stan Wen's Thriftabalooza.
I don't know about that one.
It actually started at my in some way at my garage. So I was having a yard sale and having trouble selling things because it's kind of difficult to advertise a yard sale. So Stan he thought it might be good to have a well advertised yard sale where multiple people from all over can come in, bring their stuff, and then sell it. So he started a company called Thriftabalooza, and so they started selling. They started organizing it at the PL Fairgrounds once or twice a year, and now I think they're doing the same thing in Los Angeles and Portland. So they've really expanded.
All right. And for your social media, is there one like you're more comfortable with, like one you like being on more versus other ones?
Are you talking about? You're talking about the platform.
Yeah.
I think I prefer LinkedIn over Facebook or Instagram because or I tend to get a lot more feedback on LinkedIn than I do on Facebook or Instagram. So if you look at the Takamori Robot. If you look at the Takamori Robot LinkedIn, so many more likes, reshares, and comments than any other platform.
I think you shared this on your LinkedIn, but can you tell the story of why your name is the name of the company?
Takamori Robot.
Yeah.
So in Japan, I actually have a different name. So in U.S. I'm Joseph Casebeer, but in Japan I'm Yuji Morita. And if I take the characters from the name, it can be Taka from my first name and Mori from my last name. Then I can actually combine them together and into Takamori, which actually reads as prosperous forests. And also my family in Japan actually have a connection to Japan's last samurai, Saigo Takamori. So for people who've seen Last Samurai, that is not Tom Cruise, and so that's another reason for the I guess robot samurai character on the keychain.
So why do like Asians have English names? I know they do in China, they do in Vietnam. Why is that?
My situation's a little bit different. So in my case in the U.S., my dad decided to name me after his brother, and also Casebeer comes from my dad's adoptive father, whose last name happened to be Casebeer. But
by the way, what a fucking cool last name!
It is a cool last name. I went to startup group or online startup group during the pandemic in Philadelphia, and they called me Happy Hour. So in Japan, they call it the English name that they use in the U.S. They call it the Starbucks name.
Okay.
So the name you give at Starbucks, and the person working there will get it right each time.
Yeah. So for the tech event July 30th, what is your goal for the tech event?
Get as many Kickstarter pre-launch signups as possible.
That's a good goal. Yeah. And so what will you be doing for the demo on that day?
Or as a trade, I'll probably have this running and actually get the Bluetooth or Wi-Fi functionality working so people can actually connect their phones to the robot and.
Oh shit, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so hopefully I can get that done on time. And of course put up pamphlets so people can find the website and Kickstarter stuff very easily.
Yeah. So what do you do? You have a lot going on, but what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? A couple of my hobbies. I do like playing musical instruments, so I'm able to play piano or guitar. I also like cooking. So for a lot of engineers and scientists, it's it's like chemistry, but something we can do at home and safely.
You have like a go-to dish that you make?
Do I have a go-to dish?
Like someone says, hey, make a dish. If I like it, I give you $1 million.
So most of the dishes that I like doing are quick and cheap. So Japanese izakaya style, let's say Japanese style hamburgers or things like that.
Okay.
Or,
and how advanced are you in playing piano?
A little bit intermediate. So can sight read and can play from ear. Can play by ear.
How long have you been playing?
So I am not as good as my parents would have liked me to be.
I don't think no one is, right?
But I started playing when I was 5.
Okay. They give you lessons or something like that back in the day?
Yes, it's so they brought in a piano teacher, and
They ever asked for the money back?
Hmm?
Did your parents ever ask for the money back for the lessons they gave you since you didn't learn?
They threatened it, yes.
And then, and the guitar, like how'd that come about?
I was actually so between high school and college, I actually took a 10-month gap year in Japan. And in my small apartment, couldn't have a piano, and I had to move back to the U.S. So couldn't get a keyboard because how am I going to pack that, and what am I going to do with that at the end of the 10 months? So I got a guitar, and I actually spent 2 hours just learning chords, and I play rhythm guitar, not like lead guitar. So from my perspective, playing the guitar is playing chords like playing the left hand on piano, and if you sing with it, it's like playing the right hand on piano. So it wasn't too much of a leap. So I learned a few chords and was able to competently play songs within 2 hours.
So I believe every kid or every person who graduates high school or either after high school or after college should take some kind of gap year, right? I mean, of course, if you're like kind of rich, you can afford to do it better, but regardless of your income situation, take some time off and like quote unquote discover yourself or go do different things, experience things. Having said that, with you taking a gap year, was it a good thing for you, bad thing for you? What's your take on actually doing a gap year as far as where you're at right now in life?
So for me, the gap year was actually a lifesaver. So around that time, so I had been a straight A student all my life, and that last year I was not doing well in school as hard as I would have tried, and I didn't know why. So I attended classes, I understood everything, I did the homework, but I couldn't perform well on tests, and I later found out that it was because I was burned out, and I had never experienced it before, and people like if you're stressed all the time or busy all the time, you kind of get acclimatized to it. So it's like being a frog that's being boiled very slowly, and so it doesn't notice. So I went and spent 10 months in Japan. When I came back, I was able to perform again. I felt so refreshed, and to me it was a lifesaver.
And I guess you went to Japan because like you had people there.
Yes, I have friends and family there, so that made that very easy.
And how were you able to convince your parents that for you to do this? Were they for this, against this, or you're a grown guy now, do what you want to do?
So my parents are for gap years were pro gap year in general. My dad wanted me to take 2 years off, 1 year to do chores around the house, and another to do the gap year, and I did not want to do that. I think, he's the kind of person that if I did 1 year of chores around the house, then he would say, "Oh, let's do another one until I'm 30 and still haven't gone to university." So I just bought the ticket, and when he found out it wasn't refundable, he was all for it.
So there's a lot of talk now about is a college education even worth it right now? Of course, if you want to be a doctor or lawyer, you need to go to college, or maybe let's say you want to get a master's in business from Harvard, and you need to go to college to get high grades, right? But do you really need a degree in computer engineering, computer science, design, marketing? It sounds like college is kind of losing its value.
Computer science, I think some places are starting to offer programs for computer science. So they might be job training, where a person in that training can learn how to code, but they don't need the rigorous rigorous training in algorithms or the mathematics behind it. Computer engineering, yes. The skill set is advanced enough that you do need to go to college. You're not going to learn that you're without being very 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 self motivated. You're not going to learn the advanced maths and things anywhere else. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, the most difficult thing about learning a set of skills is knowing what book to read next.
That's very true, yeah.
So, if I had tried to learn everything I had learned at university by myself, it would have not occurred to me to explore some subjects relative to others.
So, when did you know you want to be an engineer? Like high school, junior high?
I think since I was very, very young, I knew that I wanted to be in science. And then at some point, I found out that my dad was an engineer. Funny story here is he worked for Boeing, and he has a pilot's license, but he wasn't a commercial pilot or anything. Me and my sister and I, we thought that he was a pilot. Later, we found out that he was a field service engineer for Boeing. So, I think he thought that the truth was close enough that he didn't feel the need to correct us and didn't want to explain what a field service engineer was. But my dad's background was mechanical engineering, and I found that to be I find it interesting, but not enough to pursue a career in. But in high school, I actually got into an animatronics team, and learning the electronics and programming made it so that I could make really cool things even as a young teenager, and I decided to go into that.
So what do you see as your future, right? What do you see yourself doing? Like you're going to become like a CEO of this multi-billion-dollar company? Are you like, what do you see for yourself?
I think success in this startup will open a lot of doors for me in being able to pursue projects that I find interesting. Or one project that I've been thinking about is ways to make social media less messy.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's a good one for you. So they always say if you're an entrepreneur, never quit, keep on driving, whatever. But is there a time when an entrepreneur should quit? When an entrepreneur should say, okay, maybe this isn't for me? Or should this be all the never quit mentality?
I think for me, where I would consider the end of the road for maybe Takamori Robot is at the end of the Kickstarter campaign, if just looking at the results, if no one comes in and donates, then maybe I should hang up the towel and put all my effort into job applications. I've been kind of slacking on that for a while because working on this, but at a certain point, I need to start building up savings.
So the Kickstarter, like, obviously I can't tell what to do, but like, let's suppose your Kickstarter is successful, right? To me, I don't think that's a judgment on the product itself, right? Like maybe you just reached out to the wrong people. Maybe marketing was bad. Maybe, the people you reached out to didn't have any money, right? I don't know. I think there's so many things that go wrong with Kickstarter, right? And you're competing against all the other Kickstarters, all the different stuff. Like I have no idea how big your presence is, social media. I don't know how many people you know, right? I mean, it's so many factors, right? So I don't know if I would stop with that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's based off the results. So
yep.
if it looks like the marketing was somewhat promising, but we didn't reach the 30,000, then we proved that there's some market, and we had some semi-success in reaching it. If we put it out there and it's just crickets.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah. Have you thought about like reaching out to like local school districts and stuff?
Yes. So I'm planning to reach out to my old woodshop teacher who actually I did the animatronics competition in high school in his club. So hopefully he'd be able to open doors for me. And a lot of people I meet at networking events, they say, "Oh, I know this person. Let me connect you to them."
So who do you think, or who do you want to actually buy this product?
I think in the long term, bigger contracts come from B2B. So working with companies like Black Muse or schools or after school programs, they have bigger contracts. For the case of the Kickstarter, because Kickstarters might fail, people might put money into something and not get something back. That risk can only be borne by individuals. So a school district is not going to donate to my Kickstarter because they might not get the kit. They might not get the kits that they pay for, but because that is the risk of a Kickstarter.
And so, if somebody orders a kit on the Kickstarter, like suppose I order one today, when should I expect to actually get it?
Late December, early January.
Okay. And so, how do you like do that? Like, how do you tell someone, "Hey, John Bob, give me $60 a day, but you got to wait like 6 months, right?" How do you like do those like I won't say mind tricks, but mind tricks, right? Because most people are like, "I gave you $60, I want my shit right now."
I mean, this is Kickstarter. First of all, this is Kickstarter, not Amazon.com, so it does not have two-day free shipping. But Kickstarter is all about telling the story and showing your progress as you go through. So with the understanding that these things take a while, we publish a timeline and show our progress as we go through. And I think people in general, especially early adopters, they're understanding about the roadblocks.
Do you think you have to like educate the public, so to speak, on what a Kickstarter is? I think me and you both know what a Kickstarter is, but does the general public know what it is, right?
I think the general public know what it is, but recently especially GoFundMe, it's kind of become a hub for or basically a replacement for health insurance for
I've been noticing
people who are more less unfortunate.
I've been noticing that too. Yeah, like you see it all the time now. I had a flat tire. I can't afford to get a tire. Here's a GoFundMe for buying me a tire or something like that. Maybe not that simplistic, but yeah. What's are you gonna get a master's in engineering?
Am I gonna get a master's in engineering? I'm thinking about it, but I don't think now is the time. So right now I'm on the trail of this, but I think eventually to expand my horizons, I might pursue one.
So what's a quote unquote a day in your life, right? Like you like wake in the morning, eat breakfast, spend 3 hours building a robot. I'm sure that it changes every day, but it's like a typical day to day for you, like.
So most days we'll wake up, get ready, eat breakfast, work on Takamori Robot for about a couple hours, and around 11 o'clock noon, I have to go ahead out and do a read so I can keep food on the table and pay for more parts. And Mondays and Tuesdays are my free days, so spend those working, doing nothing but working on this, or I guess getting errands done that I don't have time to during my regular work days. And meeting with my team and trying to push the needle forward as much as I can.
So your team, how do you convince this team to be with you, right? Because I'm guessing you're not paying them anything, right? How do you give them the vision, all that kind of startup speak, right?
So I guess for broke entrepreneurs in their 20s, the best way to find team members are find people who are recently out of college or still in college. So in terms of savings, they're in the same place as you are. They are more willing to. They have a greater ability to take risks. and uh, everyone's in it for the learning opportunities. So expanding tech skills, expanding marketing skills, learning how to use graphic design skills in in different formats than they ever had before. So with the understanding that if they succeed, that they'll eventually get paid for it. And one thing that helps is I'm there with my team, working every day. So putting as much or even and a lot of times more effort more efforts because like a team leader also has to be, or in my mind, a team member.
Here's one for you. What's something that you wish more people knew about you?
I don't really have anything, or I mean, I like my ability to be different things to different people, and so don't really have a need to tell everyone or some people everything about me.
Okay, all right. So, what's going to be the next robot design you do?
What is the next robot design I do?
Or have you thought that far yet?
I mean, there's a lot of things out there. A DIY drone, or maybe not a robot, but also in the same vein as Black Kits. One thing I'm thinking about is a basically kind of a smartphone, but without any connection to a marketplace that a student can use, or a student or anyone can use. But the only way they can have increased functionality is if they make the app themselves.
Oh, shit, that's pretty smart.
So, I mean, in this modern day, we're kind of losing old technological playgrounds where students get to play and actually interact with the technology. If you need something, you can go find it online and use it yourself, which so I think I want to kind of bring back these playgrounds where people that kind of force people to be a little bit more educated about tech, where the words "I know technology" means I can use Facebook. I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I could be wrong, but it sounds like engineers like yourself think differently, right? It sounds like engineers like yourself y'all think differently, right?
I think we do.
Why do you think that was it something you're taught at school, or is it just like you genetically think differently from the beginning? Why do you think this is?
I mean, I think it's both. Like a lot of engineers, we tend to be a bit obsessive, and we turn our work into a little bit of a hobby. So so we like tinkering around with things, and then calling up a friend and say, "Hey, look what I did." Even if the thing we're building is useless to everyone, we still think it's cool. But a lot of it is actually beaten into us in classes. So when I meet engineers out in the real world, and even if we didn't go to the same university, we still complain about the same classes, and how about we have experiences where half our class was wiped out by a certain teacher or things like that. So we do share a lot, I guess both intrinsically and in terms of experience.
So from your point of view, and you've been an engineer for a short time, but from your point of view, what characteristics does a good engineer need to have?
A good engineer. I think people know the usual ones about the obsession about machines or natural phenomena. It's I think a good engineer professionally, the things they kind of teach us at university is how to read and understand documentation, but also the ability to share ideas with people who are not necessarily engineers, and the ability to negotiate contracts and project scope with a client.
So let me ask you this: like, is engineering like engineering, but then like your mechanic, like all engineers are kind of basically the same, but then in mechanical have their own skills, electrical have their own skills. Is that a good assessment?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of overlap.
Okay. So what makes someone an engineer? Is it just the schooling they get, or?
I mean, you can stretch the definition and say that everyone technical is technically an engineer, but the engineering discipline, so something engineer that you get at college, it's the differentiator is usually differential equations and maybe PID controllers.
Okay. And what's the highest math you had to do?
Differential equations.
I have no idea what the fuck that is. Yeah. That's like way past algebra and trigonometry?
Way, or it's a little bit way past calculus as well.
Okay.
But it's the ability, or it's the ability its ability to better model, I guess, natural systems.
Okay. So this is a crazy question. Like all this math stuff, right? Like everyone knows 2 + 2 is 4, right? But like, why do we know this, right? Is just because it was taught to us way back in the day? Just some random person came up with all this math stuff? Like,
probably a math major will have a different answer than I do. So, I've seen some sources where, I guess a lot of facts about math. It's difficult to tell if people can say they have been both discovered and invented. And I've heard from some math majors that if you get more advanced, you get to a point where some people believe, where some facts feel like they're more invented than discovered, which I don't understand.
yeah.
I don't understand that. But
I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
But
like some random dude from the 1400s decided this, I don't know, geometry, whatever it was, was the real deal. Like,
but everything's built on a system of logical proofs, or logic proofs, or conjectures that have not been proven yet, or proven or unproven or disproven yet. But my understanding or relationship around mathematics is more practical than theoretical, like some mathematicians are. So I'm not the best person to give the answer because I'm more of I use math, not I.
Okay. I always wonder, like all these theories in science and math, like all these theories, right? It does seem like a lot of stuff that we're basing stuff on, like real life decisions, are based on theories that actually haven't been proven yet.
When it comes to engineering, everything's a little bit more practical, a little bit more proven. But like engineering is applied physics, so we see something in nature, and the function seems to match what we see in nature.
I mean, for example, like in 1875, probably no one had that. People probably had the idea like how to do plane flights at right, whatever. They know how to do it, and then we did it in 1910, 1914, and then like I guess what I'm trying to say that the technology we have right now might be the technology we use in the future, right? Like the technology we have now might not be the technology we use in the future, right? Because the tech in the 1890s wasn't what we used in 1969 to go to the moon, right? It was a whole different tech.
I mean, yeah, I guess in some way it's true, and a good mental experiment is I think thinking about what is the earliest date humanity could have actually gone to the moon, and I think it would have been early is it 1800s, 19 or I think most of the tech that kept us going to the moon was nothing mathematical or anything like that. Mostly discoveries in chemistry. We didn't necessarily know why we didn't necessarily know what elements were, so that we breathed a certain gas and expelled another. We didn't know about efficient stoichiometry, so how much hydrogen should we have and how much oxygen should we have to get the most efficient reaction, because we didn't necessarily know what hydrogen and oxygen were. So we couldn't maintain life support, and we couldn't make anything efficient. So even if we could model something moving through space, we couldn't make anything go through space and keep something alive inside.
Okay, so give me like a crazy prediction for science for the future.
I mean, I'm by no means a leading expert in any field. I think in addition to quantum computing, that analog computing is also going to be a new frontier, because it will, if analog computing chips can process AI operations more efficiently than GPUs, then we won't need all these big data centers and or big data centers or these graphics card that take so much power to just generate a picture.
Okay, so this is my prediction, right? I've said this on podcasts before. You know how back in the day it would take like 6 months to go from England to the United States, and now it's like a 6-hour plane flight. I think the same thing's gonna happen in space travel within the next 10, 20 years. Instead of taking like 3 years to go to Mars, it's gonna take like 3 months. We're gonna figure out some kind of new physics or engineering principles, or wormholes or something. Something's gonna happen where like it's gonna go down tremendously.
I mean, based off of some material, I think a book called Physics of the Future by Michio Kaku. They're already working on a plasma-based rocket system called Phasmer that could hypothetically take someone to Mars in months instead of years.
Yeah, I mean, months, that's still a long ass time still, but it's better than years, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's here's one. Elon Musk calls you up. Hey, Joseph, you're my guy. Got a seat for you on the first plane to Mars. You going or you staying?
I'm not sure. The thing that I would imagine that the trip to Mars would be like the trip from Europe to the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
Back when the Americas were first being colonized.
Yeah.
It was a culture of exploitation and indentured servitude. So, with the current day economics, I hope it's a lot more. Or I hope that the colonization of Mars is a lot more humane to people who are who are not as wealthy than it was than the trip from Europe to the Americas were, I guess.
Do you think Elon's gonna be able to pull this off?
Yeah, I don't think I have enough information to speculate.
I mean, it's a podcast. That's what we do, is speculate.
As problematic as he is kind of being in recent times, for something that important, maybe I hope, or I kind of hope that if he is the one who succeeds, I hope he isn't the only one to succeed for long, because I think we should have more than one option to get to Mars.
Yeah, definitely. So I might ask this before, but what tech out there excites you, right? Say AI, quantum mechanics. What AI? I mean, what tech out there is like really exciting to you?
Yeah, quantum mechanics. Maybe not really exciting.
And get back in front of the mic, please.
Sorry, maybe not the most exciting tech, but or maybe not the most exciting tech, or I'm not sure. The brain-based processing units where they grow little rat or human brains and put it onto a chip and try to interface with that. Ethically very interesting. As for its role in tech, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Is how much more efficient it is compared to regular AI. What the full functional what it'll be completely capable of doing, and I guess also what I'm interested in is cells need nutrients and oxygen, but they also excrete waste. So how that's taken care of in those kind of systems.
Yeah, one tech that doesn't excite me, actually scares me, is like what's the genetic splicing, right? Where like you potentially like, hey, I want my son to be 6'4", blonde hair, blue eyes, with whatever skills, right? That scares me a lot, right? That's a path I don't think we should need to go down. But it seems like we're going on that path, and like that one company, technically they brought back the dire wolves, whatever, and all this. Do we want to bring back like the woolly mammoth or the dinosaurs? I don't know if we want to do that yet, but it seems like this path these people are going on.
So we're in the Jurassic Park / Gattaca universe now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, you all seen the movie, you all seen Skynet, like, what are we doing?
I mean, I think the scariest thing about Jurassic Park is people's human beings' unwillingness to learn how to build better enclosures.
Yeah, no shit, yeah.
But and one thing I heard about that company making direwolves is that might not be their main product. But it is flashy and gets the media attention. Their main product might this is what I heard, but don't quote me on this. Their main product might actually be a bacteria that breaks down plastics. So if they release them in the ocean, then we might be able to deal with our like ocean garbage problem.
Okay, that'd be a good problem to solve. That seems like that's kind of like a far stretch from making animals, though.
Yeah, but animals get better media attention than bacteria.
They do, and then I know that. So suppose they brought back dire wolves, and I know there's a lot of science that it's not really a dire wolf. You just change like a yellow wolf to something else, right? But my thing was like, it doesn't matter if it's not a dire wolf. They made this from nothing, right? Like the two animals were made from not from other animals having sex, right? They made it from a lab, so to speak, right? So. But you're thinking about potential. I mean, that solves the food problems, right? You just make cows, make chickens, make food. Like there's endless food supply, right?
I mean, it's not enough just to make the animal. You have to make the animal and give it a place to live. The benefit of let's say synthetic meat compared to a clone animal is that the synthetic meat can live on a lab. You can put it maybe in an enclosure and pipe nutrients in, pipe waste away, and it'll be a lot more safe, space and water efficient than a actual living, breathing cow. Or even if you take whatever genes are out there in the in the population, like if the animal is taking space to graze, taking taking water from the fresh water supply, it's a lot more resource intensive.
Okay, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, that's a good point. 'Cause everything is like resource intensive, right? Everything like eats, consumes, wastes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is there anything else I haven't asked you yet, or anything else you want to talk about?
Not that I can think of.
So give the information for your Kickstarter again.
So we're about to launch the pre-launch campaign. So by the time you're listening to this, we should have it up. You should be able to find information on our Kickstarter campaign by going to www.takamorirobot.com or in our link tree, which should be I guess the link should be posted along with this podcast. So if the campaign is launched by then, please look through, and if you find anything interesting, please feel free to contribute, or if we're still in the pre-launch phase, be sure to sign up, and you should get an alert for when our Kickstarter campaign launches.
If we get out of here, can you give us any advice or wisdom or anything you want to talk about?
Advice and wisdom. I guess the biggest one, to all the engineers out there, it's not just the product, it's also the customer development. Marketing might be a chore, and it is, but it's also important. So, if you can't, I think the thing that was called, turned me from, just engineer to engineer and entrepreneur was a book called Startup Trajectory by Dave Parker. It is basically a streamlined advice for how to build a startup.
Joseph, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And to our listeners, thank you for your time as well. Remember to be great every day.